Kentucky doesn't reveal its secrets easily. Beneath peaceful horse farms and rolling hills lie haunted hospitals, underground worlds, prehistoric graveyards, vanished towns, and mysteries that still leave historians searching for answers. Some stories are fascinating, others are genuinely disturbing, but every one of them is real. Let's explore 35 shocking facts about Kentucky you didn't know. 35. The mystery of Kentucky's blue people. Hidden deep in the rugged hills of eastern Kentucky, one family became the center of a mystery so unusual that many believed they had been cursed. For generations, members of the Fugate family were born with striking blue skin, causing fear, curiosity, and endless local legends throughout the isolated Appalachian Mountains. Neighbors whispered about supernatural forces, but the real explanation was even more fascinating. A rare inherited blood disorder called methemoglobinemia had quietly passed through generations because of the community's isolation. Despite their remarkable appearance, the family lived ordinary lives, farming, raising children, and helping neighbors. Decades later, doctors discovered that a simple treatment with methylene blue could temporarily restore a normal skin color, solving one of Kentucky's most famous medical mysteries. But as strange as this story sounds, the next location is filled with thousands of tragedies, and many believe its halls are anything but empty. 34. Waverly Hills, America's most haunted hospital. Perched on a lonely hill overlooking Louisville stands a massive stone building where thousands of people fought a battle they could never win. Waverly Hills Sanatorium was built to treat tuberculosis patients during a time when medicine had few answers and countless lives were lost within its walls. Nurses and doctors worked tirelessly, but many patients never returned home. An underground tunnel, now known as the body chute, was reportedly used to move the dead away from the view of those still clinging to hope. Today, visitors and paranormal investigators report hearing footsteps, unexplained voices, shadowy figures, and doors closing on their own. Whether those stories are supernatural or simply fueled by the building's heartbreaking history remains fiercely debated. Yet Kentucky's next mystery isn't about ghosts. It's about a tiny town where dogs actually run the government. 33. The town that elects dogs as mayor. Most towns campaign for experienced politicians. Rabbit Hash, Kentucky, chooses dogs instead. This tiny community along the Ohio River has become world famous for electing canine mayors in a tradition that began as a fundraiser to help preserve the town's historic general store. Since then, several beloved dogs have served as mayor, greeting visitors, attending festivals, and becoming local celebrities. While the position is purely ceremonial, thousands of people from around the world cast votes by making donations, turning a small Kentucky tradition into an international attraction. It's a lighthearted reminder that even after tales of haunted hospitals and strange genetic mysteries, Kentucky still finds ways to surprise people. But the next fact isn't nearly as cheerful. It involves a product used every day by millions of people around the world. Almost all of it begins in one unlikely Kentucky town. 32. The small Kentucky town that supplies the world. Every day, millions of people jot down reminders, shopping lists, and important notes without realizing they all share a surprising connection to Kentucky. The small town of Cynthiana is home to the only factory in the world that manufactures the iconic yellow Post-it note. Inside the massive 3M facility, billions of sticky notes are produced each year using a unique low-tack adhesive that was originally discovered by accident. That unexpected mistake became one of the most successful office products ever created, reaching homes, schools, hospitals, and businesses across the globe. Few people would guess that such an ordinary item has such an extraordinary birthplace. Yet Kentucky's next mystery has frustrated treasure hunters for more than 250 years. Some believe an enormous fortune is still hidden somewhere beneath its mountains. 31. The lost silver mine that refuses to be found. For more than 2 centuries, adventurers have searched Kentucky's rugged mountains for a fortune that may not even exist. According to legend, explorer Jonathan Swift discovered a rich silver mine deep in eastern Kentucky during the 1760s. His journals described hidden caves, unusual rock formations, and vast quantities of valuable ore. But before he could reveal its exact location, he reportedly lost his eyesight. The secret disappeared with him. Ever since, treasure hunters have risked steep cliffs, dense forests, and dangerous caves, hoping to uncover the legendary mine. Some historians believe the journals were an elaborate hoax, while others insist the treasure is still waiting beneath the Appalachian wilderness. Whether fact or folklore, the mystery continues to lure dreamers into Kentucky's mountains. But the next destination is undeniably real. Many visitors find it far more unsettling than any lost treasure. 30. The world's only museum dedicated to ventriloquism. Tucked away in the quiet town of Fort Mitchell is a museum unlike any other on Earth. The Vent Haven Museum is the world's only museum devoted entirely to ventriloquism, housing more than 900 dummies collected from performers across generations. During the day, it's a fascinating look at the history of live entertainment. After hours, however, endless rows of lifelike faces, motionless eyes, and painted smiles create an atmosphere that many visitors describe as deeply unsettling. Every figure tells the story of a performer who once gave it a voice, preserving a unique piece of American entertainment history. Some guests leave impressed by the craftsmanship, while others hurry through the exhibits, unable to shake the feeling that they're being watched. If that feels strange, Kentucky's next fact reveals an incredible coincidence that helped shape the course of American history. 29. One state, two presidents, one nation divided. Few places in America can claim a coincidence as remarkable or as tragic as Kentucky. Within less than 100 miles of each other, two future presidents were born who would eventually lead opposite sides of the Civil War. Abraham Lincoln first saw the world in a humble log cabin near Hodgenville, while Jefferson Davis was born just a year later in Fairview. As the nation descended into its bloodiest conflict, Kentucky became a dangerous border state where families, neighbors, and even brothers sometimes fought on opposite sides. The state's divided loyalties reflected the nation's deep wounds, leaving scars that can still be traced through its battlefields and historic communities today. Yet Kentucky's next story trades political conflict for colorful fabric, a city that quietly became famous around the world. 28. The quilt capital that stitched together a global reputation. At first glance, Paducah seems like a peaceful river town, but every year it transforms into one of the world's most important destinations for fiber art. Recognized by UNESCO as a creative city, Paducah attracts thousands of artists, collectors, and visitors who travel from across the globe to admire extraordinary quilt masterpieces. Inside the National Quilt Museum, fabric becomes breathtaking works of art that can take months or even years to complete. What began as a practical frontier skill has evolved into an internationally celebrated art form that fuels the city's economy and preserves an important part of Kentucky's heritage. It's a reminder that beauty and creativity can flourish in unexpected places. But the next destination tells a very different story. A peaceful religious community that built one of America's greatest utopian experiments before mysteriously fading into history. 27. The Shaker Village, frozen in time. Hidden among the rolling hills of central Kentucky lies a village where time seems to have stopped nearly 2 centuries ago. Shaker Village of Pleasant Hill preserves the largest collection of original 19th century Shaker buildings in the United States, offering a rare glimpse into a community built on simplicity, equality, and hard work. The Shakers believed in communal living, craftsmanship, and innovation, creating furniture and farming techniques that were far ahead of their time. Yet there was one problem that quietly threatened their future. They practiced celibacy, meaning no children were born into the community. As members grew older and fewer new converts arrived, their remarkable society slowly disappeared. Today, visitors walk the same peaceful paths, but the silence serves as a reminder of a once thriving civilization that simply faded away. The next story, however, proves that not every Kentucky legend was what it first appeared to be. 26. The mummy that fooled America. When explorers ventured deep into Mammoth Cave during the early 1800s, they discovered what appeared to be an astonishing archaeological treasure, a naturally preserved human mummy seated inside the cave. Promoters quickly transformed the discovery into a national sensation, claiming the remains belonged to a mysterious lost civilization, an ancient race of giants, or even Egyptians who somehow reached North America. Curious crowds paid to see the incredible find, and the sensational stories spread across the country. Years later, scientific research finally uncovered the truth. The mummy belonged to a Native American from the Woodland period, remarkably preserved by the cave's cool, dry environment, rather than supernatural forces. The real history proved just as fascinating, exposing how myths and exaggerated claims often overshadow genuine discoveries. Kentucky's next chapter reaches even farther into the past, where enormous beasts once ruled the landscape before disappearing forever. 25. When bison returned to Kentucky. Long before highways, farms, and cities covered Kentucky, massive herds of American bison thundered across its grasslands, shaping the landscape with every migration. By the early 1800s, relentless hunting and expanding settlements had driven them from the region, leaving only stories behind. Nearly 2 centuries later, conservationists worked to reverse that loss by establishing the elk and bison prairie within the land. Between the Lakes National Recreation Area, today visitors can safely watch these enormous animals roaming across hundreds of acres, offering a glimpse of what early explorers once witnessed. Standing just yards from a full-grown bull weighing nearly a ton is both breathtaking and intimidating, reminding visitors that these giants are still wild and incredibly powerful. But Kentucky's upcoming attraction has survived floods, sinkings, and more than a century of change while refusing to retire. 24. The steamboat that refuses to quit. Gliding along the Ohio River is a living piece of American history that has outlasted generations of change. The Belle of Louisville, built in 1914, is the oldest operating Mississippi River-style steamboat in the world. Powered by authentic steam engines and a giant paddle wheel, she has survived devastating floods, accidental sinkings, mechanical failures, and decades of modernization that ended the careers of nearly every other vessel like her. Thousands of passengers still step aboard each year to hear the whistle echo across the river and watch the massive paddle wheel churn the water just as it did more than a century ago. During the annual Great Steamboat Race, she proves that history can still come alive in spectacular fashion. Yet the next Kentucky mystery is far stranger, because one spring afternoon, something impossible literally fell from the sky. 23. The day meat fell from the sky. Imagine stepping outside on a clear afternoon only to watch pieces of fresh meat begin falling from the sky. That's exactly what happened near Olympia Springs, Kentucky in 1876. Witnesses watched in disbelief as chunks of red meat drifted down over an area nearly the size of a football field, covering trees, fences, and open ground. No storm had passed through, and there wasn't a cloud overhead. Curious and unbelievably brave, locals even tasted the mysterious substance, hoping to identify it. Scientists later suggested the most likely explanation: a flock of vultures had simultaneously regurgitated their recent meal while flying overhead. Even today, the Kentucky meat shower remains one of America's strangest documented events, proving that reality can be far stranger than fiction. But Kentucky's next story isn't about something falling from the sky. It's about a giant that returned after disappearing for more than a century. 22. The return of Kentucky's lost giants. For nearly 150 years, the haunting bugle of wild elk disappeared from Kentucky's mountains. Overhunting had wiped them out by the mid-1800s, leaving forests that suddenly felt much quieter. Then, in the late 1990s, wildlife officials launched one of the most ambitious restoration projects in the eastern United States. Hundreds of elk were carefully relocated, and against all expectations, they flourished. Today, Kentucky is home to the largest free-ranging elk herd east of the Mississippi River, with more than 10,000 animals roaming reclaimed coal lands and Appalachian forests. During autumn, massive bulls clash with thunderous antlers while their echoing bugles roll across the mountains, creating one of North America's greatest wildlife spectacles. The following story reveals a hidden community that once became so famous for breaking the law that federal agents struggled to stop it. 21. The moonshine capital hidden in the forest. Long before Kentucky became famous for legal bourbon, one remote community built its reputation by making whiskey the government never approved. Hidden among the thick forests between the Tennessee and Cumberland rivers, the small town of Golden Pond earned a reputation as the moonshine capital of the world. During Prohibition and the Great Depression, countless families depended on secret stills tucked deep inside hollows where steep hills, winding creeks, and dense woods made it nearly impossible for federal agents to find them. Under the cover of darkness, bootleggers risked arrest and sometimes deadly confrontations to protect their livelihood. Eventually, The entire town disappeared beneath the Land Between the Lakes project, but stories of hidden stills and daring moonshiners still echo through the forests today. Yet Kentucky's next destination couldn't be more different. Instead of running from the law, its residents have spent nearly 2 centuries living in almost complete silence. 20. The Silent Monastery that changed millions of lives. Tucked among the quiet hills of Nelson County stands the Abbey of Gethsemane, the oldest Trappist monastery still operating in the United States. Since 1848, generations of monks have devoted their lives to prayer, manual labor, and long periods of complete silence. To outsiders, the peaceful stone buildings seem almost frozen in time, but behind their walls is a disciplined way of life that few people could endure. The monastery gained worldwide recognition through Thomas Merton, whose books on faith, peace, and reflection influenced millions of readers across the globe. Visitors often describe the grounds as unusually calm, where the only sounds are birds, wind through the trees, and distant church bells. After the danger and secrecy of moonshine country, this place offers a rare moment of peace. But beneath Kentucky's surface lies another hidden world, one inhabited by a tiny creature found almost nowhere else on Earth. 19. The blind shrimp that lives in eternal darkness. Far beneath Kentucky's rolling hills, where sunlight has never reached, lives one of the rarest creatures in North America. The Kentucky cave shrimp survives in complete darkness inside underground rivers connected to the Mammoth Cave system. Over thousands of years, it adapted so completely to its lightless world that it lost both its eyesight and its body pigment, becoming almost transparent. Scientists closely monitor these tiny shrimp because they act like living alarm systems. If the underground water becomes polluted, they are among the first species to suffer. Their survival depends entirely on the health of Kentucky's hidden waterways, making them a silent guardian of an ecosystem few people will ever see. But if you think an invisible shrimp is unusual, the next roadside attraction looks like something pulled straight from a 1950s science fiction movie. 18. The highway village that looks frozen in the 1930s. Driving through Cave City, travelers suddenly encounter a sight that feels completely out of place. Rising beside the highway are giant concrete teepees, each one serving as a hotel room. Known as Wigwam Village No. 2, this unusual motel was built during America's golden age of road trips, when eye-catching attractions competed for the attention of passing motorists. Each towering structure offers modern comforts while preserving the nostalgic charm of the 1930s. Families have stayed here for generations, drawn by its unusual design and slice of roadside history. As darkness falls, the quiet village takes on an almost surreal appearance, making first-time visitors wonder if they've stepped into another era. But Kentucky's next discovery wasn't built for tourists. It exploded onto the scene and helped launch one of America's most important industries. 17. Kentucky's forgotten oil boom. Most people believe America's oil industry began in Pennsylvania, but Kentucky has a strong claim to a much earlier chapter in that story. In 1829, workers drilling for salt near Burkesville accidentally struck a pocket of crude oil instead. Without warning, black liquid erupted from the ground with incredible force, shooting high into the air and spilling toward the nearby Cumberland River. Local residents had never seen anything like it. Some feared they had unleashed something evil from beneath the earth, especially after the highly flammable oil caught fire and flames reportedly raced across the water. The discovery happened decades before America's famous oil rush, making Kentucky an overlooked pioneer in the nation's energy history. Yet the next fact isn't about fire. It's about a simple hand gesture that may have started right here in the Bluegrass State. 16. Did Kentucky invent the high five? It's one of the most recognizable celebrations in the world, used everywhere from school playgrounds to championship games. But some sports historians believe the high five may have gained its popularity in Kentucky. During the 1978-79 basketball season, players on the University of Louisville's legendary Doctors of Dunk team were known for slapping hands high above their heads after spectacular plays. The gesture symbolized teamwork, confidence, and excitement, and it quickly spread beyond college basketball into professional sports and everyday life. While others also claim to have invented the high five, Kentucky remains one of its strongest and most convincing origin stories. It's remarkable how one simple celebration may have connected millions of people around the globe. Next Stop proves Kentucky's history isn't just underground or on the court. It comes alive beneath the stars on one remarkable stage. Before continuing, please be sure to like and subscribe to keep exploring the strange and shocking geography of our beautiful country. 15. Kentucky's oldest outdoor theater still takes the stage. Long before streaming services and giant movie theaters, people gathered under Kentucky's night sky for an entirely different kind of entertainment. In Danville, the Pioneer Playhouse has been welcoming audiences since 1950, making it the oldest continuously operating outdoor theater in the state. Built with reclaimed logs, native stone, and rustic craftsmanship, it captures the spirit of old Kentucky while launching the careers of future stars like John Travolta and Lee Majors. As the sun sets and the stage lights come alive, visitors experience live performances much as audiences did generations ago. It's proof that storytelling can survive changing times without losing its magic. Kentucky's next attraction replaces quiet applause with roaring engines, high speeds, and a record that racing fans travel hundreds of miles to experience. 14. The world's longest go-kart track. Most go-kart tracks are over in just a few quick laps. Kentucky's Thunder Road is an entirely different experience. Located at Kart Country in Shepherdsville, this record-setting track stretches for more than 1.5 miles, making it the longest continuously operating go-kart track in the world. Drivers race through sweeping curves, sudden elevation changes, and long straightaways that create the feeling of a real motorsports circuit. The speed may be controlled, but the excitement is very real as families and racing enthusiasts compete for bragging rights around every corner. What looks like a simple amusement ride quickly becomes a test of focus and nerve. Yet Kentucky's next destination wasn't built by people at all. It was carved by nature over millions of years into one of the East's most breathtaking landscapes. 13. Kentucky's hidden world of natural stone arches. When most people think of towering stone arches, they picture the deserts of Utah or Arizona. Few realize that eastern Kentucky hides one of the greatest collections of natural sandstone arches east of the Rocky Mountains. Inside the Red River Gorge, more than 100 massive arches, bridges, and towering rock formations rise above dense Appalachian forests, shaped by millions of years of wind, rain, and flowing water. Some stand high above steep cliffs where one careless step could have deadly consequences, drawing experienced hikers and climbers from around the world. Others remain tucked away in remote hollows, waiting to be discovered. Every trail reveals another breathtaking view, proving Kentucky's wild landscape rivals some of America's most famous national parks. But the next destination takes those dramatic views to an even larger scale. A canyon so enormous it's often called the Grand Canyon of the South. 12. The Grand Canyon of the South. Stretching across the Kentucky-Virginia border is a landscape so dramatic that many first-time visitors can't believe they're still in Appalachia. Breaks Interstate Park is home to one of the deepest gorges east of the Mississippi River, earning it the nickname the Grand Canyon of the South. Over millions of years, the Russell Fork River carved a canyon more than 1,000 feet deep through the rugged Cumberland Mountains, creating breathtaking overlooks and sheer cliffs that seem to disappear into the valley below. During heavy rains, the river transforms into one of the most dangerous whitewater runs in the eastern United States, challenging even expert kayakers with violent rapids and powerful currents. It's a place where incredible beauty and real danger exist side by side. Kentucky's next story isn't about nature. It's about a ghostly woman who many believe has quietly watched over one historic mansion for more than 200 years. 11. The Gray Lady Who Never Left Liberty Hall. Elegant by day and unsettling after dark, Liberty Hall in Frankfort is home to one of Kentucky's oldest ghost stories. For more than 2 centuries, visitors, caretakers, and members of the same family have reported seeing the mysterious Gray Lady quietly wandering the historic mansion. According to local legend, she is Margaret Varick, a woman who died unexpectedly just days after arriving to comfort her grieving niece in 1817. Unlike many ghost stories, she isn't described as frightening. Witnesses claim she peacefully smooths bed covers, walks silent hallways, or gazes from upstairs windows before disappearing without a trace. Whether these sightings are tricks of the mind or something science cannot explain remains unknown, keeping the legend alive for every new generation. But Kentucky's next chapter isn't supernatural. It was a natural disaster so powerful that it briefly forced one of America's greatest rivers to flow backward. 10. When the Mississippi River flowed backward. In the winter of 1811 and 1812, the ground beneath Kentucky suddenly became one of the most violent places in North America. A series of massive earthquakes struck the New Madrid seismic zone with such incredible force that witnesses described the earth rolling like ocean waves beneath their feet. Entire forests collapsed, enormous cracks split open across the landscape, and terrified settlers fled as church bells rang hundreds of miles away. Then something almost impossible happened. The powerful shaking temporarily lifted sections of the riverbed, causing parts of the mighty Mississippi River to reverse direction for a short time. Boats were swept upstream, towering waves crashed against the banks, and survivors believed the end of the world had arrived. Scientists still study these earthquakes today because another major event in the region remains possible. The next fact reveals a place where an entirely different kind of danger was quietly stored for decades. 9. Kentucky's secret chemical weapons depot. Hidden among the rolling hills of Madison County sits one of the most heavily guarded sites in Kentucky's history. For decades, the Bluegrass Army Depot stored thousands of tons of deadly chemical weapons, including nerve agents and mustard agent, inside reinforced bunkers spread across the secure military installation. Few people realize that some of the world's most dangerous substances were quietly stored just miles from nearby communities. Emergency plans were constantly updated in case of an accident, although strict safety measures helped prevent a catastrophic release. In recent years, highly specialized facilities carefully destroyed the aging stockpile under international agreements, ending one of the last chapters of America's Cold War chemical weapons program. Today, the depot represents a remarkable transformation from a place built for warfare to one focused on eliminating one of history's most dangerous arsenals. But Kentucky's next story isn't about hidden weapons. It's about a man so unbelievably tall that crowds traveled for miles just to see him. 8. The Kentucky giant who towered above everyone. Imagine looking up nearly 8 feet just to make eye contact. That's exactly what people experienced when they met Captain James Porter, better known as the Kentucky Giant. Standing an astonishing 7 feet 8 inches tall, Porter became one of the tallest men ever recorded in American history. As a young boy, nothing suggested he would become extraordinary, but a dramatic growth spurt in his late teens transformed him into a national curiosity almost overnight. Although traveling shows eagerly offered him fame and fortune, Porter chose a quieter life in Louisville, where he became a respected businessman and local celebrity. Even famed author Charles Dickens wrote about meeting the gentle giant during his American travels. Yet Kentucky's next mystery lies beneath the surface of a peaceful lake, where an entire town still waits in silence beneath the water. 7. The town that disappeared beneath the lake. Beneath the calm waters of Kentucky Lake rests the forgotten town of Birmingham, a community that once echoed with the sounds of busy streets, church bells, and riverboats. Founded in the 1850s, Birmingham thrived as a center for timber, iron, and river commerce until the 1940s, when the Tennessee Valley Authority began building Kentucky Dam. Families faced an impossible decision. They had to leave behind homes, businesses, schools, and even the graves of loved ones as rising water slowly swallowed the town forever. During severe droughts, fragments of old foundations and streets occasionally reappear above the surface, offering a haunting glimpse into a community sacrificed for flood control and hydroelectric power. It's a powerful reminder that progress often comes with a human cost. But Kentucky's next mystery has puzzled archaeologists for generations. No one knows exactly why these ancient stone walls were built. 6. The ancient stone walls no one can explain. High atop Indian Fort Mountain near Berea, hidden among thick forests and rocky ridges, lie mysterious stone walls that have baffled researchers for decades. Stretching hundreds of feet across the mountaintop, these carefully stacked limestone structures were built long before European settlers arrived. Archaeologists believe indigenous cultures constructed them more than 1,000 years ago, but their true purpose remains unknown. Some experts think they marked sacred ceremonial grounds, while others believe they tracked astronomical events or served as gathering places for important rituals. Whatever their purpose, the precision of their construction reveals remarkable engineering skills. Standing among these silent ruins, surrounded by dense Appalachian wilderness, It's easy to understand why the site continues to spark curiosity and debate. Yet Kentucky's next hidden resident is even more extraordinary. A fish that has survived millions of years without ever seeing the light of day. 5. The eyeless fish that evolved in total darkness. Deep inside the flooded passages of Mammoth Cave lives a creature so perfectly adapted to darkness that it no longer needs eyes. The northern cavefish has spent millions of years evolving in an underground world where sunlight never reaches. Over time, it completely lost its eyesight and skin pigment, becoming almost ghostly white as its other senses grew extraordinarily sharp. Using tiny sensory organs along its body, the fish can detect the slightest movement or vibration in the water, allowing it to hunt and navigate with incredible precision. Scientists consider it one of Kentucky's most remarkable evolutionary survivors because it exists nowhere else but these fragile underground ecosystems. Even a small amount of pollution entering the cave system could threaten its future. But Kentucky's next mystery isn't hidden underground. It's buried beneath one of America's greatest legends, and no one can agree whose grave is actually marked by the monument. 4. The mystery of Daniel Boone's final resting place. Even in death, legendary frontiersman Daniel Boone continues to divide two states. After spending his final years in Missouri, Boone was buried there alongside his wife in 1820. 25 years later, Kentucky proudly brought what were believed to be their remains back to Frankfort for an elaborate public ceremony attended by thousands. The problem is that many historians believe the wrong graves may have been opened. Some researchers argue Boone's real remains never left Missouri, while others suggest another person was mistakenly reburied beneath Kentucky's impressive monument. More than 180 years later, the debate remains unresolved, turning one of America's greatest pioneers into the center of an enduring historical mystery. The next story is far more heartbreaking, following a trail where thousands endured unimaginable suffering in one of the darkest chapters of American history. 3. Kentucky's Trail of Tears, a road of suffering. Not every place becomes famous because of triumph. Some are remembered because of tragedy. During the late 1830s, thousands of Cherokee men, women, and children were forced to cross western Kentucky during the Trail of Tears after being removed from their ancestral homeland. Many traveled through brutal winter weather with little food, inadequate clothing, and almost no medical care. Disease, exhaustion, and freezing temperatures claimed countless lives before the journey ended. Near present-day Hopkinsville, several encampments became places of desperate survival, while others became final resting places for those who never reached their destination. Today, the Trail of Tears. Commemorative Park honors their resilience and preserves the memory of one of the darkest chapters in American history. The following destination proves that even architecture can hide a chilling past filled with war, tragedy, and ghost stories. 2. The haunted Octagon House of Kentucky. Standing alone in the Kentucky countryside is a house unlike almost any other in America. Octagon Hall, built in the 1850s, was designed with 8 sides instead of the traditional 4, following a short-lived architectural movement that promised healthier, brighter homes. But during the Civil War, the unusual mansion became something far darker. It reportedly served as a hospital and lookout for Confederate forces, where wounded soldiers fought for survival and many never recovered. Today, visitors claim to hear unexplained footsteps, whispers, doors closing on their own, and shadowy figures moving through empty rooms. Whether these stories are paranormal or simply the echoes of history remains fiercely debated. Yet Kentucky's final fact reaches back far beyond the Civil War, to a place where mammoths, giant sloths, and ancient bison once gathered thousands of years before humans arrived. 1. Where America's Ice Age giants gathered. Long before Kentucky's forests, farms, and cities existed, one remarkable place drew some of the largest animals ever to walk North America. At Big Bone Lick State Historic Site, natural salt springs attracted mammoths, mastodons, giant ground sloths, ancient bison, and other Ice Age giants searching for essential minerals. But the muddy ground surrounding the springs became a deadly trap. Countless animals became stuck, leaving behind an enormous fossil graveyard that puzzled early explorers. Even Thomas Jefferson recognized its scientific importance, sending William Clark in 1807 to collect fossils that helped shape America's early understanding of prehistoric life and extinction. Standing there today, It's almost impossible not to imagine those colossal creatures roaming the landscape where Kentucky's story truly began. And perhaps the most surprising fact of all is that beneath Kentucky's peaceful surface, many of its greatest mysteries are still waiting to be uncovered. Kentucky has hidden far more than horses, bourbon, and bluegrass. Beneath its peaceful landscape lie forgotten disasters, lost fortunes, underground worlds, ancient giants, and mysteries that still challenge historians and scientists today. The question is, if these were only 35 of Kentucky's most shocking secrets, what unbelievable stories are waiting to be uncovered in the next state? Before leaving, please like and subscribe to keep the good times going. See you in the next video.